Good morning, everyone. It is day 23 of the Curtis Goes West tour, but as you know from the last video, it is actually my 25th day. I took 2 days off and I went on a camping trip with my good friend Patrick and his 2 sons. Shut the camera off and we just had fun, enjoyed the mountains, enjoyed the outdoors, and enjoyed good company. But today I am back on the road because I need to make Chicago. I need to make Chicago to do a little bit more work to the bike, and then I am going to be on a trip with good friends of mine from the Chicago area, headed down to the Blue Ridge Mountains. Utah and my friends Patrick and Taylor have all been really good to me, and we even got the bike in a lot better condition than it was when we got here. We got new tires, changed on the oil, and it's actually pretty clean because we washed it, scrubbed it down. Didn't get it perfect, but it is a lot cleaner than when we came in here. I had a great time with my friends and I really enjoyed Utah, but today we are headed out. We're gonna take the scenic route through the state, down south, out towards Arches area, and we will be headed into Colorado. And I got this route from my friend Richard at Hell Monkey Cycles. He gave me a great route, taking the scenic way through Utah into Colorado. Told him I had 2 days, met me out a great 2-day route, which will pop me out at about the northeast corner. And from there, we'll have to bomb home to Illinois to make it in time. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be fantastic. Let's get on the road, get going. Good morning, everyone. It is day 24 here on the Curtis Goes West tour, which is now turning into the Curtis Goes East tour. Except for today, where I'm throwing a curveball and I'm going back west and a little south to see a few things that I just cannot miss. So the original plan for today was to keep going northeast towards the northeast corner of Colorado and then head back to Illinois from there. But I realized there's a few things on my list, been on them for a while, that I gotta see, and we're gonna see them today. I'm talking about 4 corners where Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico all meet in one location. Definitely have to see that, and we will today. From there, I was looking around, I said, where was the Forest Gump where he stopped running scene filmed? And it is not too far from there, near the Utah-Arizona border, so we're gonna see that too. And then from there, we're gonna start back on our trek northwest through Colorado on the great route that my friend Richard from Hell Monkey Cycles gave me. And we're gonna see where we end up. Probably not quite as far as I originally planned, but that's okay. We got the time. We can make it up later in the states that are not as interesting, such as Nebraska, Iowa. No big deal. So with that, we're gonna roll into Cortez, Colorado, get something to eat, get a little coffee, get this day going. Four Corners was an awesome stop. Just one of those things I had to see for myself. But it looks like we got a little weather rolling in out to the north and the east, but we should be good as we make our way to our next stop, which is Forest Gump Scenic Point. It's the filming location for the point in the movie where he finished up his cross-country run and says, "I think I'll go home now." Let's ride out there, check it out. I am in San Juan County, Utah, right in the area where a scene was filmed in the 1994 film Forest Gump. It was here where Forrest ended his cross-country run and said, "I think I'll go home now." I'm definitely not ready to go home, but it is time to start headed east, get back into Colorado, and start making my way through it and on to Illinois. So we better get rolling. I just got some fuel here in Cortez, Colorado, and I'm gonna keep rolling a little bit while I got some daylight and make my way northeast. I'm gonna roll through Durango, Colorado, up 2 passes, get to about 9,600 feet. Should be a great ride, lots of turns up and down, and roll into Silverton, Colorado from there. Gonna be a great ride, but it's about 2 hours, so I better get rolling. Time to wrap up the days, day 23 and 24. And 23 I left out of Patrick and Taylor's in the morning, and I was just following Richard's route out of Utah, you know, on a slant towards the southwest corner. And so pretty great route. I went through, you know, some canyons, along some lakes, and got rained on probably within the first 3 hours. A little bit, just a little rain. And then, you know, he put me on this Wolf Creek Pass, which was a great road, and, you know, just real scenic, a lot of sweeping turns. And I'm riding along, and, you know, I like to ride with my Bell Bullet helmet without a visor at all, just sunglasses. And so I'm riding along, and all of a sudden a bug flies into my helmet, which happens pretty often, but this time it was a bee. And so the bee comes in, and it comes right to the corner where it's exposed right here, stings me about right there while I'm riding. And I pull over, and of course there's nothing I could do. But anyway, got back going and threw the rain gear on. It was gonna rain, so got rained on again, and kept on going. I mean, it was a route. It was a lot of different roads, a lot of turns. Took me down a lot of different ways, but the rain that you guys saw was at the highest point of a pass. It was like 9,000 feet. Weather was dark, and that was big rain, big thick rain. I don't know. It was coming down pretty good, and so I just took her slow. But you know, we had the new tires, so that was an added plus. But got through that. That didn't last too long, about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. That was cold rain, but no big deal. Warmed up after that, and then I was on this long straight road for a long time, cruising out towards Moab. And so, I mean, I went right by Arches National Park, and you know, I didn't stop. I just didn't really have the time per se. I mean, I kind of did, but I needed to make the campground. I had a campground already at that point, it booked, and I needed to get there before sundown. So kept on riding. I'm gonna go there eventually. I'm obviously looking at moving to Utah, so I could do a lot more Utah stuff if I live there. I will definitely get to Arches at some point. Just it didn't happen on the trip. But anyway, kept riding and made my campground, the Views Campground, Dolores, Colorado. Can't say enough things. It's locally owned, and I think it used to be a trailer park at some point a long time ago, but they fixed it up nice. Bathrooms were really nice. You just tell like they really care. People really care there, which was fantastic. And you know, it was only $35 for one night, which is a bit of money, but it's not KOA money. KOA is like $50-$60, which is outrageous to me for a primitive campsite. No electric, no water, and you know, they let me use the electric there. I just stayed in what was actually an RV site, but it worked out great. It was easy to get in and out, and there's enough grass for my small tent, so that was great. Really liked that campground. And you know, that was day 23. Pretty great day. Bike started off clean, and it did not end clean, but that's just how it goes. No big deal. So we were on to day 24 there in Dolores, Colorado, and I was kind of contemplating my route plans. And I was like, well, you know, the plan was to keep moving through Colorado, get to that northeast corner. And I was like, oh, I gotta hit Four Corners. Four Corners was relatively close. And I was like, well, if I hit Four Corners, I really want to hit the Forest Gump site. So I looked at how close they kind of were, and it was going to be most of the day. So I said, you know what, whatever. I am here. I gotta see this stuff. Let's do it. So got some good breakfast in town at a little local place. I had that was probably the best breakfast. I should have filmed it more, but it was probably the best breakfast I've had in the entire trip, I'll be honest. It was kind of like a Tex-Mex kind of style breakfast burrito, and I had French toast, which was all really good. It's like Pippo's Cafe or something, Cortez, Colorado. Great place. Probably definitely my favorite breakfast restaurant of the trip so far. So left out of there, bound for Four Corners, and you know, you go out of town a little ways, and then you're pretty much in the middle of nowhere for a while, right into Four Corners through New Mexico. And it's like, it's $8 to get in, cards only, or maybe it's 10. I think it's 10. And anyway, card only, and it's pretty much just a gravel parking lot, and it's all torn up pretty good. And then anyway, I went in there, and I was kind of wondering what all those things were on the side, those buildings that along the stretch of the square, because you enter through the corners, and then there's those like shacks. And basically what it was is it's like a permanent flea market for Native American vendors, is pretty much all I saw. Just people, a bunch of stuff, people trying to sell you. I mean, which is nice, but I just didn't expect that to be there. It's just some kind of basically a flea market at Four Corners. That's always there. But anyway, Four Corners was cool. The inside the square is really nice, the way they got it set up, labeling different states, and you know, you could obviously stand in each state, and then you could stand on a platform, and you know, they got all the flags. It looks nice there. They did a good job. That place was cool. You know, it's something just something I wanted to do for a long time, standing off four states at once, and I did it. So that was cool, just one of those things. And from there we're on to the Forest Gump point, and that was a bit of a ride, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, through an Indian reservation. Again, middle of nowhere, nothing out there, just riding, and you know, cruise through that. And the terrain changed a lot. You know, it was flat at one point, and then it gets hilly, and then the stone goes from light tan to dark tan to dark red, as you saw. And that was some great riding there. It was beautiful. I didn't expect it to be that beautiful. And you know, just real vibrant color stone, and just real strong and rich. And it was just cool to see and ride by it. And so I'm riding these beautiful roads, and anyway, just come right up on Forest Gump Point, and there's some people around, and took a few pictures. And you know, I decided to do the video right in the middle of the road, right where, you know, Forest stops, and that was cool. Just definitely cool to be there, because I love that movie. If you haven't seen Forest Gump, just finish this video up and go watch that movie. Great movie. And you know, I was just checking it out, finishing up the video, and there was some Oriental people there, and she was kind of like standing next to my bike, and she had her hand on the hand grip, whatever. Just, she wanted to get a picture with it, which I thought was cool. And she's standing there. I was like, hey, you want to sit on it? And she's like, yeah. So she jumps on the bike, and she's all about it. So they took a bunch of pictures of her sitting on my bike, and I was like, you know, you care if I get a picture too? She's like, no. So I took a picture of her on the bike. Nice people. I'm not sure where they were from, but finished that up, and I was like, well, you know, I got to try to make some headway through Colorado today. I'm kind of running out of time. So jumped back on the bike, and it was go all the way back to Cortez, Colorado, which is pretty much where I started. And it was probably 4:30 at that point, 5 o'clock. And from there I figured out my campground situation. I found one in Silverton, Colorado that I liked. So bound for Silverton, 2 hours, and rode in through Durango. Durango is a nice town. It's very it's charming. There's a lot of different things going on, a lot of hotels, rustic, you know, it's very, very out west, you know, mountainy Colorado type town you would expect. I've also heard it's expensive, but you know, what isn't? And that was fun. So I rode through Colorado, and I was really looking forward to the next portion, which was Highway 550, not the $1 Million Highway 550 section. It was just the precursor to it, but that was excellent. There was a lot of, you know, up and down on the terrain, some great switchbacks, great turns. It was a lot like what, you know, you would expect, but really enjoyable road. Rolled into Silverton, and it's a very quaint town, very small town, not a whole lot going on, but it's beautiful. There's a lot to see there, actually. Anyway, rode into my campsite, and then they're like, oh, it's gonna be cold tonight. It's gonna be, you know, in the high 30s. And I said, okay. So they got me my campsite, and then before the grocery store closed at 8, I got there 7:30. You know, I got a few things to help me out. Just bought some long johns finally, and some foot warmers, and I bought a winter hat. So decided to use those for the night, and got back to my campsite. It was dark. I had to set my tent up, and they gave me a gravel campsite. It's all loose gravel. There's no grass, very, very little grass. So I'm trying to set this tent up in the gravel, and the stakes won't even go on the ground because it's like hard packed gravel onto the loose gravel. So just not fun. It took way longer than it should have to set the tent up, but I did end up finding a few soft spots and end up using a rock on one of the corners just to make it work. But got that done, and bundled up and went to bed. So definitely a solid couple days. Really enjoyed those couple stops I did, and that I took the time to see them. It was definitely the right thing to do. But with that, we're on to day 25, at this point, we gotta keep rolling through Colorado, making some headway, and enjoying Colorado. Colorado's beautiful, and still got a lot to go at this point. So, all right. Thank you all very much for watching. Really appreciate all likes, comments, support. Appreciate y'all being patient.